At 6, Oakland High School students stage a walkout after recent shootings on campus.
We need to show them that we're serious because they know that we're tired of being shot up.
It comes as the man charged with murdering longtime football coach John Beam faces a judge for the first time. Plus, plans to divert billions of dollars in federal funding to fight homelessness.
How are we going to pick 30%? Who's going to get to keep their housing?
We'll hear from homeless advocates who say the Trump administration's change in focus could actually put more people on the street.
I think it will change the nature of the work that we've been doing for decades.
And later, we'll meet some volunteers in Santa Cruz working to make sure their neighbors don't go hungry this holiday season and how you can get involved.
You can't have a community without everyone looking out for each other.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We start in Oakland, where young people are making sure their leaders know they are tired of seeing shootings at their schools. Skyline High School was one of the campuses where students walked out and marched today. Our chopper also spotted a rally at the flagpole at Bishop O'Dowd. Now, this all comes after 2 campus shootings last week. One injured a student at Skyline, the other at Laney College, taking the life of legendary football coach and athletic director John Beam. Kelsey Thorne spent the afternoon with Skyline students who are using their voices to call for action.
Students here at Skyline High School say they are fed up with all of the violence after one of their peers was shot on campus last week. Today, many of those students got up and walked out of class off of campus to protest what they say is an unsafe learning environment.
We want our community and our schools to feel safe, secure, and heard.
Kennedy Wiley is a junior at Skyline High School, one of hundreds of students who walked off campus in protest. In just the 3 years she's been a student here, she says she's experienced 2 school shootings and multiple lockdowns.
It was the graduation, and then it was, I believe, during the first few months of that school year. And then nothing happened during sophomore year except a fire and a bus incident with a car and kind of got smashed a bit. But no school shootings then. And then this year we have one.
That most recent shooting happened last week. OPD says a 15-year-old student was shot in a campus bathroom. 2 teens were arrested and charged. Police say both were armed with ghost guns. The victim is expected to recover. Kennedy told me she knew the victim. That's one of the reasons she decided to help organize the walkout.
We need to show them that we're serious because they know that we're tired of being shot up. We're tired of security, the lack of security at the school.
That feeling was echoed by many of the students who walked out today, who told me they were at school the day of the shooting and don't feel safe anymore.
I was really scared. I thought, people were going to die. I was just scared. Words can't explain.
I feel bad for the people who had to be there when it happened, right there. And I just feel like it's sad. Even for the staff, they feel unsafe too, probably, you know?
The students are calling on the district to do more to keep students safe. Kennedy is a member of the student government and told me they are scheduling a meeting to talk with district administrators. Her hope is that this walkout shows the adults in charge that these students are serious. They want concrete solutions to solve the issue of gun violence on campus, and they want that action now.
That's very unfortunate that our school doesn't just have the resources we need to build a safer and secure environment. I mean, it's not a big ask. It really isn't. I don't think so.
Many of the students that walked off in protest did not return to classes today. Kennedy told me the next step is setting up that meeting with district officials to talk about what they can do as soon as possible.
It was just one day after the shooting at Skyline High School that Laney College athletic director John Beam was shot and killed on campus. Cedric Irving Jr., the man charged with his murder, made his first court appearance today. He stood quietly in court and did not enter a plea as members of Beam's family and a number of his former players looked on. Irving is being held without bail. He will be back in court in December. One of the people who came to Laney College today was DeAndre Forks. He told us he was there to pay his respects to Coach Beam and his family. Both of his brothers played for Coach Beam at Laney College and currently play in the NFL. One of them is Nashawn Wright, who plays for the Bears. And this weekend, Wright made a big interception and immediately knelt down in tribute to Coach Beam.
Knowing what he meant to him and just how it impacted everybody, I felt like he was determined to get that pick. You know what I mean? It was just like he was there. Like Beam came when we played the Saints, and he made sure to get a pick that day. It was just like he wanted to make his coach proud, like always. You know what I mean? So that was, to me, inevitable.
After the interception, Wright said he knew Coach Beam was with him. San Francisco police released new videos of a shooting on Market Street last week. It is a disturbing case where a dog and its owner were shot by officers. Now, the video is tough to watch, but we can tell you that both the dog and the man shot are recovering. So surveillance footage, it shows how this all started. An unleashed Husky Shepherd mix bit a pedestrian on the leg. After police were called, they approached the owner and the dog. Police body cam video shows officers trying to take the suspect into custody, but also worried about the dog, who police say was being aggressive.
I'm going to shoot your dog, man. I'm going to shoot your dog. You're under arrest. Get over here. Your dog's going to get shot.
Officers then attempted to physically detain the suspect. That is when police say the dog lunged at an officer. That officer fired shots at the dog and the dog's owner, who police say threw a plastic bottle at the officer during the confrontation. All of this ended after a foot chase down Market Street.
Mr. Eaton was arrested and booked at the San Francisco County Jail.
So the owner and dog were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect was charged with using force or violence to obstruct an officer and resisting arrest. As the holiday shopping season gets underway, San Francisco leaders say Union Square will be a safe place to shop and visit. Mayor Daniel Lurie says crime in the area is down 40% compared to this time last year, and that includes a 22-year low in car break-ins. Meanwhile, the San Francisco Police Department says they will be doubling their deployment at Union Square throughout the holiday season.
Our officers will be stationed at various retail establishments on the streets to prevent or to respond to any criminal activity. I want everyone who comes to San Francisco to know that you will be safe.
Lurie also encouraged people to shop at the new stores that have opened in Union Square in the past year, including the new Nintendo store and Pop Mart. Talk about a wild high-speed chase in San Francisco's Marina District. It ended with a pickup truck lodged in the side of a hotel. 2 people were hurt. So take a look at this. It's surveillance video from a nearby gas station. It shows a truck zooming straight through the corner of the gas station and smashing into 2 other cars. There you can see sparks actually shooting out from the back when the car went through. Happened on Broderick and Lombard Streets this morning. All right, here's the aftermath. Boy, look at that. You can see the 2 cars that the truck hit mangled on the sidewalk, and where that truck then ended up wedged into the hotel. It left a gaping hole on the side. One guest was actually inside the room where the truck went in. The guest who was next door told us he thought the rattling was an earthquake.
I thought it was an earthquake, so I thought we were going to have to leave the building. So I ran out. I was barefooted. The truck was smoking like crazy, so I got my wife together and we went down here because I wasn't sure if it was going to catch on fire.
The hotel guest was taken to the hospital on a stretcher, but no serious injuries. The driver was also taken to the hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. So despite billions spent on homelessness, the crisis seems worse than ever. One South Bay program that aims to help the unhoused is worried about a setback to its successes. So Continuum of Care is a federal initiative that helps get people off the street and into permanent housing. But that progress could soon slip away. Our John Ramos spoke to housing advocates who say recent federal funding changes could impact the program.
Logically, the goal of any homelessness program is to get people off the streets and into permanent housing. And here in Santa Clara County, thousands have done just that thanks to federal funding. But now federal funding is changing, and there are those who think even more people will be turned out into the street because of it. The Trump administration doesn't like the way the battle against homelessness has been fought. They think the real problem is drugs. And HUD Secretary Scott Turner announced big changes to what the federal government will be willing to fund. Quote, "Our philosophy for addressing the homelessness crisis will now define success not by dollars spent or housing units filled, but by how many people achieve long-term self-sufficiency and recovery." End quote. At issue is a concept called Housing First, where homeless people are put into apartments subsidized by federal funds. Ray Bramson, with a South Bay housing group called Destination Home, explains how it works.
The concept behind it and the science is pretty sound. You get a person who's homeless into housing with as few barriers as possible, and then you get them whatever support that they need. So we started to move to this, started to have really good results. And that movement was growing for a long period of time, but now we are headed in a different direction.
Now HUD says only 30% of their continuum of care funding will pay for permanent housing. The rest will be spent on transitional shelter-type housing and abstinence-based drug treatment. Those are important, but what happens to those currently housed? Until now, 85 to 90% of HUD funding has gone toward permanent housing, about $48 million in Santa Clara County. James R. Williams, the county executive, said in a statement that more than 2,500 people have stable housing as a result. Quote, "There is no doubt that the federal administration's actions will reverse years of progress, displace thousands of residents, overwhelm local shelters and emergency rooms, and cost taxpayers far more in crisis services." End quote.
How are we going to pick 30%? Who's going to get to keep their housing?
Vivian Wan is CEO of Abode Services, a housing advocacy group. She says HUD's new focus on requiring people to be more self-reliant is missing a key point.
And a lot of the people in permanent housing are older, disabled, unable to work to be able to afford the high rents in the Bay Area. So it's really dramatically impacting what we're doing and how we're doing it and who we're doing it for.
I think it will change the nature of the work that we've been doing for decades, and it'll lead us to a place where we're not solving the problem, we're just putting a Band-Aid on the issue.
Is this going to drive some people out of permanent housing back out into the streets?
I think it absolutely, if we defund permanent housing programs and people have nowhere else to go, they could end up without a home.
At this point, those who work to house people have no idea what will happen when the changes take place. The new approach will focus on getting people off the street, even if it means returning those who already left it.
The funding shift will start in January when local governments and nonprofits apply for grants. The process is said to be competitive, with funding being offered at the administration's discretion. All right, still ahead right here at 6, a new roadblock for Texas Republicans after a judge blocks the new congressional districts. What it could mean for California's Prop 50. Plus, we'll take you to the oldest food bank in California, where volunteers are hard at work helping out their neighbors.
Got a chance to dry out across the Bay Area today. We saw plenty of sunshine. It just didn't warm us up very much at all. Temperatures consistent across the entire region. Low to mid 60s. Will be a little cooler tomorrow with more clouds, and we're tracking the next chance of showers coming up in the first alert forecast.
A federal court is barring Texas from using its newly redrawn congressional maps in next year's elections. The court ruled the maps unconstitutional, saying they were drawn to dilute the voting power of racial minorities. It's a major blow for President Trump and Republicans, who backed the maps as a way to protect their narrow majority in the 2026 midterms. Texas already said it will appeal the decision. And then back in California, Prop 50 is also facing some legal challenges, but the outcome likely won't be tied to today's ruling. While the measure originally contained trigger language linking its implementation to Texas, Paul Mitchell, whose firm drafted the map, says that provision was removed, meaning the Texas decision has no impact on California. Onto a major win for Menlo Park-based tech giant Meta. A federal judge ruled that it is not an illegal monopoly, as the Federal Trade Commission had argued. The judge noted that Meta may once have had monopoly power in the past. The FTC did not show that it holds that same power now. The win also allows Meta to keep its ownership of popular social media apps like Instagram and WhatsApp. Every day, thousands of Bay Area families struggle to make ends meet, and each holiday season, CBS News Bay Area teams up with local food banks to help fight food insecurity. So we are kicking off our Food for Bay Area Families drive at Second Harvest Food Bank, Santa Cruz County, the state's first ever food bank. Our Devin Feely introduces us to some of the volunteers supporting their neighbors.
On a wet evening, the main parking lot of the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk turned into a lifeline. Second Harvest Food Bank, Santa Cruz County, launched an emergency response community food distribution. Most people who came through chose to remain in their cars, so we talked to the team of volunteers who kept the operation moving box by box.
My name's Lily Pheasant, and I'm out here today on behalf of the Long-Term Recovery Group of Santa Cruz County and with the California Emergency Response Corps, and just out here to help get some food out to people.
Lily says their goal was to provide food for about 1,000 people, many facing new gaps in assistance.
With the government shutdown, I think a lot of people lost out on benefits, and I know that that's been hugely impactful for so many people. I think that's super important to just fill the gaps that are missing in the federal government right now, and yeah, just make sure people have the support they need.
Volunteers say the need has been growing and community support is what keeps these distributions going.
The need has increased over 150%. You can't have a community without everyone looking out for each other.
From fresh produce to meal essentials, the team worked car to car, making sure that every driver left with what they needed. For many volunteers, showing up like this feels personal.
Community support looks like, literally putting food in people's cars so they can go home and have a good Thanksgiving meal.
Second Harvest will continue pop-up and emergency distributions throughout the season, working to make sure that no one in Santa Cruz County goes without a meal.
And if you want to support our Food for Bay Area Families initiative, scan the QR code on your screen right now. There you'll be able to donate food or funds or your time to food banks across the Bay Area, or just head to kpix.com/give. Up next, another round of rain headed our way. Paul is tracking the timing and the full forecast as we get closer to Thanksgiving.
Dry weather across the Bay Area today, but we're already tracking the next wave of moisture. It's going to approach the Bay Area. And as we look at that on Futurecast, well, it looks like an atmospheric river headed towards us. However, this is going to be weakening as it approaches the west coast, and this is going to fall short of the threshold of the amount of moisture flowing through the atmosphere overhead that would qualify it as even a low-end atmospheric river. And the forecast models have been steadily backing off the amount of rain, the intensity of rain that we expect tomorrow night into Wednesday. This is still going to be sufficient to send plenty of clouds through the skies overhead tomorrow and bring us those showers tomorrow night into Thursday, but it does look like it's going to be a bit less impressive. Right now, looking outside, well, not seeing much cloud cover as we look towards San Francisco. Temperatures are in the 50s across the board. It was slightly cooler than average today. We'll be a little cooler than that tomorrow. Low to mid 50s right now, but we're going to fall into the 40s across most of the Bay Area by early tomorrow morning, which sounds cool, but believe it or not, the average low temperature in Santa Rosa tomorrow morning is 39 degrees. So we're going to be well above that at least. No downright cold temperatures on the map to begin the day. And we're going to bounce back up into the 50s, which is good news for dog walking weather. This is our adoptable dog from Lily's Legacy. This is Joey, who looks very enthusiastic and ready to go. Temperatures in Petaluma only approaching 60 degrees. So it's definitely going to be on the cool side. And the relative lack of sunshine is going to make it feel even cooler. But no moisture out of those clouds just yet as we head through the day tomorrow. Let's fill in the rest of the map and talk about temperatures across the entire Bay Area, and then we will track the approach of that next wave of rainfall. And again, just the colors in the background show a cooler than normal pattern. We're going to be about 4 or 5 degrees below average, falling just short of 60 or just above 60 degrees in San Jose, just below 60 degrees in San Francisco, with mid to upper 50s at the coast. Even the warmest spots on the map just barely cracking 60 degrees. And for the North Bay, you're mostly going to be in the upper 50s because the cloud cover will be a little bit thicker and the rain showers are going to get to you first. Let's take a look at some radar simulations from Futurecast. This is from 6 o'clock tomorrow evening through 2 a.m. Thursday. And you see some very light showers at first. Those evaporate on the way down, but the actual showers will move in just after midnight tomorrow night. Looks pretty impressive when it first arrives, but watch what happens from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock Thursday morning. The showers kind of fall apart as they move deeper into the Bay Area. There are going to be some hit or miss showers for the morning commute, but they just look less and less impressive as we head through the rest of Thursday. So while we're going to add up a little bit of rain, it is not going to be a substantial or impactful rainmaker, not even a low-end flooding potential. Futurecast indicating a few hundredths of an inch of rain and maybe a quarter to a half inch on the high end of the spectrum, especially closer to the coast and some of the higher elevations. And for the southern half of the Bay Area, we're talking about a few hundredths of an inch, maybe just over a tenth of an inch of rain, even in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And this isn't going to be much of a snowmaker in the Sierra, but they're going to add up a little bit. And the resorts will definitely take every bit that they can possibly get before Thanksgiving rolls around and the opening days get closer and closer. That's the only chance of rain that we have in the 7-day forecast. We're going to see full sunshine Friday and Saturday, a mix of clouds and sun from Sunday into the beginning of next week, and likely a similar pattern as we approach Thanksgiving Day next Thursday. Temperatures running pretty close to what's normal for late November. It looks like a dry forecast for at least travel to Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Too soon to talk about the way back.
On the way back. All right, Paul. Thank you. All right, and coming up, take a look at this. When we come back, the eye-popping price tag someone paid for this game-worn Willie Mays jersey from one of his final seasons in San Francisco. Cha-ching. Oh boy, Willie Mays' legacy will forever be etched in sports history, that's for sure. But how much are you willing to spend to own a piece of the Say Hey Kids memorabilia? All right, this game-used Willie Mays Giants jersey and pants from 1971 sold for more than $360,000 from Gray Flannel Auctions. That's enough for a hefty down payment on a home, yeah? The inside of the uniform shows Willie Mays' name in cursive. It was used several times in the 1971 MLB season. According to the auction site, Mays gifted this road uniform to his longtime personal friend, Jimmy Hayes. Also, other Bay Area legends had some gear up for grabs. Warriors star Steph Curry's game-worn Nike shoes from 2012 to 2013 sold for $138,000. Wow. And then this jersey from 49ers legend Joe Montana sold for more than $72,000. The red game-used jersey is from 1988 and signed by Montana. If you're wondering what the cheapest item was on the auction block, some autographed hockey cards went for about $30, includes former San Jose Sharks and all of that. Wow, take that. All right, thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. See you at 7 with more local news.